finding it. Find your Zen. Learn more at Zen.com. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth.
It was just announced on the cast of Paradise. Sam, welcome to the podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back to Bachelor Happy Hour. I'm Joe.
And I'm Serena.
And we are here with Sam M. from Gen Season. He was just announced on the cast of Paradise. Sam, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. Where are you located?
Located in Murrells Inlet, South Carolina. It's probably 15 minutes south of Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
Nice.
How far is that from? We got married in Charleston.
Okay. All right. So probably an hour and a half from Charleston.
Yeah. How
That's
hot is it
awesome.
over there right now?
It's hot. We've had a lot of rain recently. Probably the last 2 weeks. I think we've had more rain than I've seen in probably the last 2 years. So it's whenever the sun comes out, the humidity is way up. So we're feeling it over here.
Nice. Now, what do you do for a living?
So I'm a general contractor, mainly residential. So we're home builders out here, and market's good. We stay pretty busy doing that.
Nice. That's
Do you have
good.
like a busy season? Like is summer busier for you guys?
Honestly, there's no such thing as a slow season with us. I think there's a lot of builders in our area, and you just try and find the right one that you can get in with, and then whenever you do that, you're never slow. There's always something that needs to be done around here.
Are there hurricanes by you?
There are. They're not as bad. Honestly, Charleston gets them worse than us by just the way that the state curves in. Usually Charleston catches the brunt of it, and then by the time it gets to us, it's just the backlash of it, which can be tough. But I think we're due for a pretty bad hurricane season this year.
Do you when it comes to building, do you have to obviously you have to keep that in mind? Are there do you use I don't know, special what are you laughing at?
Joe has never built anything in his life. Like he can't even hang something on the wall. So I'm just what question are you going to ask?
Bullshit.
Hey,
that is false information.
I don't buy it. No, there's a code. So depending on what we're doing, if we're just doing handyman stuff, then there's no inspector or inspection required. But usually with the stuff that we do, there's a county inspector that comes out and makes sure that everything is up to date. That way we're not getting in trouble, and they're not getting in trouble either. So it all works.
All right, we'll pivot to, is this your first podcast?
First podcast.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Welcome.
Yeah. I appreciate it. I feel honored.
Nice. Okay, so we're going to pivot to The Bachelor, Bachelorette. You were on Gen Season. We didn't get a chance to talk to you. So how did you make it on to that first season?
Yeah, that was it was kind of crazy, actually. I think there was a moment after I had come home. It was late one night, and I saw something popped up on Instagram, and I saw it, and I thought, this would be kind of wild right here. And then I did it, and I honestly forgot all about it. And then it was probably a month later, somebody from casting reached out to me, and they said, hey, what do you think about doing an interview? And I thought it was a joke, actually. And a few months later, I ended up on the show and out in LA, and here we are.
Nice.
Here we are.
Okay, so you are, I think it's safe to say you were kind of the villain of your season up until the very end.
I think it's very safe to say that. Yeah. I think it's safe to say that. Yeah.
We recap the show. I feel like we try to be fair and call it how it is. I don't remember what we said about you. I don't think we went in too hard. But if we did, I apologize. I do feel like there is people usually are never as bad as they may come across on reality TV. So when your name got mentioned for Paradise, I was like, that totally makes sense. Like he's going to get a redemption story. But I guess on Gen Season, what went wrong?
I think a few things went wrong. And I think starting with Jen and I, that point, I was probably 8 months out of a failed engagement, and you don't understand kind of the things. I don't think I processed the situation probably the best way that I should have. I'm one of those guys that you get knocked down and you just get back up and you keep going and you keep pushing. And I don't think I ever took the time to really process the pain that came with that. So whenever I got stuck into a position of feeling those same feelings that I had once felt before, I felt like I was constantly reminded of the turmoil and everything that had happened so recently. And it really just it didn't allow me to be vulnerable in the way that I wish I could have been in that moment. And even in a few other moments, I think I was looking for validation. I was looking for credibility. I wanted it to be something that I knew if I put my heart out there that she would pick it up. And ultimately that's not the love that I actually believe in. I believe in being completely vulnerable. And I think that's the most special thing about a relationship. So, I think just being unable to see that in the moment and in that environment, as chaotic and as stressful as it is, I fell super short with her towards the end of it all. Everything else, I think I'm one of 5. I've got 4 siblings. I've got 2 sisters, 2 brothers. I'm the oldest boy. And I think there's just a level of protection that's it's just kind of been instilled in me from the very start of life with me. So I think out there, it's not about making friends, but also, as you guys both know, in that environment, as crazy as it is, and no outside communication with anybody, you kind of, at least for me, I had to make friends with somebody to be able to try and I think kind of decompress. It was a lot more stress than I had anticipated, having a mic on the entire time and cameras in front of your face. You almost feel like you couldn't even breathe to a certain extent without somebody looking right over your shoulder. So I think with all of that, I made friends out there, and it just so happened that the friends that I made were like with Aaron. That was a tough one. I think the way that he went about some things I didn't agree with, but that was also my first roommate. So I understood his heart and where he was at. And I knew that he was trying to do the good thing or do the right thing, and just didn't have I just don't think the way that he went about it was necessarily correct. And I just wanted him to know, like, hey, I'm with you. I've got your back. And in the moment, you don't know what all that's going to look like and how it's all going to unfold on TV. And kind of the same thing with Thomas. I know that I looked like the ringleader in it all, but really Thomas had said something to me the following week, which was, hey, have my back. And I think walking through the amount of life that I have, that I've been in situations where people didn't have my back. So it's kind of one of those things that I do take over the top when somebody says that to me. I want them to know, like, hey, whatever this looks like, whatever this might bring, I've got you. And ultimately, that's kind of what stuck me, in the situation that it did. And it doesn't make every action that I made correct, because it definitely was. And I think my delivery can be a bit abrasive. And it just comes really from a level of protection with a lot of people and a lot of people that I care about. And being able to see that back on TV was something that I could really take a step back from and think, okay, I need to change the delivery on all of that right there.
Yeah, I was going to ask, where do you think as a person and a future partner, where you have grown since Gen season?
So I think first and foremost, I've just allowed myself to process the pain from my past relationship with my ex-fiance. I think I was able to just understand that sometimes that's just the way that life goes, and it's not fair and it's not right, but you've got to maneuver through that, because I don't ever want to bleed on somebody that didn't cut me. And that's an area that I felt like I had. And, in my future after that right there was just not being able to process not being able to process my emotions, just being so afraid to talk about them and let people really get close to me in fear of being hurt. And then understanding that, like, the love that I want is, it's not that. And I can't play that safe card with everybody. And one day somebody will pick up what I put down. And whenever that time comes, then whether I get my heart broke one time or 100 times, it'll all make sense one day.
Find out if it was really a fairy tale ending for all your favorite couples and
Hi, I'm Cindy.
To unplug on New York. Big Thing Shop. And if you're not a member yet, now is the time to join. And the best part, it's completely free. Just sign up online or in-store, and you'll start saving instantly. And always be sure to check the CVS.
Thinking, your entertainment, your healthcare, it's all a network to your ability to do business on a network built.
And I understand it. I don't try and argue with anybody about that. I think our relationship was a lot different than what anybody saw. And I do think the environment is definitely, everything's very enhanced. And I think it's a little bit of both, but I think where I was at, I was more in love with the fact of the way that she chose me. And I think the way that she looked at me was something that I always paid attention to, which is something that I've always is definitely, everything's very enhanced. His eyes, it definitely looks like that.
Jen, that you loved her or you were falling in love with her?
In America's future.
Connecting changes everything. AT&T.
Did you, I don't remember exactly, but did you tell Jen that you loved her or you were falling in love with her?
Yes, I did.
And do you think those feelings were real, or do you think you were caught up in the moment?
No, I don't think I was caught up in the moment. I think from everybody else's eyes, it definitely looks like that. And I understand it. I don't try and argue with anybody about that. I think our relationship was a lot different than what anybody saw. And I do think the environment is definitely, everything's very enhanced. And I think it's a little bit of both. But I think where I was at, I was more in love with the fact of the way that she chose me. And I think the way that she looked at me was something that I always paid attention to, which is something that I've always longed for. And so I think a little bit of both. The feelings were definitely real in a very enhanced situation. Yeah. And yeah, so probably a little bit of both.
There had to have been some satisfaction with how everything played out in regards to your feud on camera with Devin and then his sort of post-season downfall.
Yeah, everything comes with
you
the cost.
That, eh? Well, you like the way I worded that.
Like, what show are we on? What show are we watching? I feel like it's like a Game of Thrones.
No.
It is, in a way.
Everything comes with a cost. Even for me, I think not necessarily stooping down to his level. I don't think a lot of people got to see why I reacted the way that I did. But everything comes with a cost, and ultimately it's easy to see that, yeah, I could find satisfaction in it. But even though Jen and I didn't end on great terms, for her to have to go through that, I know what that's like. I know what it's like for somebody to say all those things, and then the moment gets there and they're gone, and it's not important. So I think that's another thing that validated my feelings towards her, was that the satisfaction wasn't what everybody expected it to be from my end. It was really more, I think I had a little bit more compassion with it, because I just felt so sorry for her, because I remember myself in that moment, in a moment very similar to that, of just things not adding up. And that was, I just don't wish that upon anybody. And even, like I said, even though we ended the way that we did, I think the truth always comes to light. You can hide it for as long as you want, but it always comes full swing. And unfortunately it did. And it hurt her as well.
Have you spoken to Jen since your season?
I sent her a message after AFR and just told her, hey, I know that we didn't end on good terms. But, I just feel really, I feel awful for you. And I hate that you had to go through that, and to go through that on live television, and really just had no choice. There's a level of just helplessness out there, and you could see it on her face. I think the whole world saw it. And for me, who does, I did know her, that sucks. I don't want to see that from anybody, no matter what our situation might look like. I just don't wish that upon anybody.
Did she respond?
She did. She responded a few weeks later. And
she left you. She left you red for a few weeks.
She went on Viall Files. I feel like in this world, there's nothing that I can really say or do. Everything comes across as very disingenuous. And I think before she ever even responded to me, she went on Viall Files and I think tried to take a crack at me for it. And really, I just came from a place of just sincerity. I felt awful for it. But it's the way that things go. But she ended up responding. She just said, "Thank you. Sorry, I've been busy with all this," which I'm sure there's a there's a level of truth there. And I think there's also a level of like, she probably saw my message like, yeah, I'm not responding to this guy right here.
Yeah.
So, I get it. I see it for what it is.
Nice. Well, I mean, you definitely seem like you have a good head on your shoulders. I know we all go on reality. All of us have been on reality TV. I didn't experience the level of hatred that I'm sure you did. Like you definitely not, but it's true. Like people, I don't think people realize the volume of people that are giving you hate all at once. And it's tens of thousands of people that I'm sure are sending you DMs that are all like, and I'm sure you get some love, but a lot of them are mean and just like, it's brutal. So then, it would make anyone not want to go back. Right.
Yeah.
Why did you make the decision to come back on Paradise?
I think I owed it first and foremost to my family and my friends. I owed it to my community and also owed it to myself. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't easy for me, but it really wasn't easy for my family either to listen to what I had to say whenever I first got back, and then to watch it all unfold on TV. I'm sitting there like, holy shit, I don't know what to do right now. So I think to be able to watch that, it definitely hurt. It hurt watching my mom, lose sleep at night. My brother-in-law lose sleep overnight. We're the type of people that are very protective. We all know who we are. We all know where we come from. I think just to watch it all get destroyed on TV was super tough. And you don't know what you don't know. And this filming aspect of it was a lot of fun. And that's what I think I felt bad for, was that nobody else but me got to experience that. All they got to experience was the hate and the backlash on it. And my friends and my family, they went to war for me the same way that I would do for them. And that's just kind of the way that we move out here. We'll fight first and then ask questions later. And it doesn't mean that everything I did was justifiable or anything like that. But in that moment, they did their best and they did everything they could to make sure that they knew that they were in my corner. So I think coming back to it all, I was definitely kind of betting on myself a little bit, and I still am. Everybody did not like the idea of me going back, and I really didn't even make a decision until 3 days before I flew back out to Costa Rica. Just because there's a level in which that I can control only so much of the way that things will be portrayed out there. And I think putting my faith and trust into the hands of the same people that kind of twisted some things last season was something that it was a tough time trying to swallow that pill right there. But I went back out there, bet on myself, and I think I did a good job. I think I did, I think I did not necessarily what I even accomplished to do. I just feel like this will be a time that America gets to see the person that I actually am and not what they think they know.
What was your goal going into Paradise? Did you have like a plan or something you were like, I want to do this differently this time? Or where's your head at?
My goal was to find that person. There were some people that I was really excited to, I was really excited to meet on Paradise. And I think that's where my head had to be at first. And then, whatever happens from there, I can also control my emotions a little bit more. And Paradise, as you guys both know, it's a different vibe out there. You're not chained down. You're not forced to be put in these environments. And I think that's what was so difficult for me the first go around, was that I couldn't remove myself from the situation, which is what I was so used to doing. If there was ever any conflict, I just wouldn't deal with it. And I could leave it all. And on The Bachelorette, they stick it right in front of your face. And you can only do so much out there. So with Paradise, also too, the person that you're in a relationship with, that's your sole priority. And as long as that she feels you the same way that you feel her, then there's really nothing to worry about. And so yeah, I think first and foremost was meeting the people that I wanted to meet. And then second was remembering that my friends and family back home that didn't support me going back out here, I just wanted to make sure that I did my best to make things a little bit easier on them this next go around.
Find out if it was really a fairy tale ending for all your favorite couples on a brand new season of 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After. We're talking Malibu, even if you're just extra big. So hurry on. The best part
meets budget. Washable sofas.
It was Allie Joe from Grant's season.
Who was on your list of people that you were interested in meeting?
Okay, so there was only one, and it was Allie Joe from Grant's season.
Okay,
interesting.
Nice.
After my season on The Bachelorette, I didn't reach out to anybody because you don't know what people think about you. Some people can see reality TV, and there's a lot of people that can't see past. And I think this guy's the world's biggest piece of shit. And I'm like, if I saw what I saw on TV, I would agree with you. I understand it, but that's also not me. So she was somebody that we had spoke a little bit before Paradise, and she was just super sweet and stuff. And I figured that would be a great girl to go meet out there.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see that.
Really? I can't.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Huh.
No.
What do you see? What do you see?
Not that's not what I would have. No, she's just like a. She seems like a feisty New Jersey girl, and you.
Did you picture him with like a sweet Southern belle?
I mean, well, that just makes a little more sense to me because you're, from South Carolina, or you live in South Carolina, and you have more of a mellow tone to you, but opposites attract.
Yeah, I do think too. People don't know me as well as they think they do. And honestly, the feistiness was something that I liked. I think I want somebody that can. Usually, I stay pretty much in my place about 90% of the time. But if I ever, decide to wander off the beaten path, and I need somebody that might smack me with a stick and say, hey, straighten up a little bit as well. So I think there's balance to a relationship. I want my partner to have her voice and understand that what she says is important, whether that's to telling me to straighten up or hold her hand or whatever it is. Like it's just kind of one of those things. I want the feistiness because that's also me to an extent.
Was there anyone in your family that was like, fuck it, go back on, like support it, like wanted you to give it another try?
I think so. In my immediate family, no. In my cousin, though, I ran into him honestly a few days before I was supposed to leave, and I hadn't made up my mind yet. And I was telling him about it, and that's exactly what he said. He's like, dude, fuck it, go. He's like, you've already learned this. You've already learned the hard way one time. And if it happens again, look at you now. He said, that's what he said. He said, you came out on, it was definitely tough. He said, but you came out better. Maybe not in the eyes of America, but you as a man came out better and you can handle it. And now if it happens again, like, what to expect, and anything that, if it's even better, which I couldn't imagine going much worse. I feel like I set the bar pretty low. So like this time around, it's kind of one of those things. He said, you know what to expect. If they do it, so what? And if they don't, then it'll all be worth it.
Yeah. And the good thing about Paradise is like the audience loves a redemption story. And rarely is it like someone has a really rough go on Bachelor and Bachelorette and then comes on Paradise and it goes worse. I can't think of a time that's happened. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully you're not the first one, Sam.
Well, look at look at Nick Viall. Like there's someone who I think he was. I didn't watch his season, but
villain-esque.
On his season. Then he went to Paradise, got a redemption story. They made him the Bachelor, and now he got a fucking bag for his podcast. Like there you go.
Yeah. I mean, it happens. I do think that. Different energy this time around. I was super skeptical even walking in. Whenever I walked into Paradise, I expected for there to be people that embraced me. I expected some people to kind of hold me at an arm's length because they didn't know what to expect. And then I expected the other group of people to be like, fuck this guy right here. This guy sucks. And I understand it. I really do. If I saw what everybody else saw, I agree with it. But that's so far from who I am. And then getting to Paradise and everybody was just so warm and welcoming. it just felt different. It made things just super easy to kind of move out there. And I think it'll be good this time around.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's the nice thing about going back on one of these shows is like everyone gets it, right? Like there's a lot of people that they don't truly they don't understand the filming process and the reality TV of it all. So they see you kind of as one person and they hate you, but everyone here kind of knows like, okay, like, you know, he made some mistakes, doesn't make him look good, but like, is this guy really that bad? Like this guy is not like you called yourself the biggest piece of shit in the world is how you came across, but like really not really, like, you know, like it's not that bad. Like you weren't that bad, you know, like,
you know, people keep saying that. I got a tough time. I've got a tough time believing it. And maybe that's just me because I hold myself to a pretty high standard, living in a small town where I do. Your reputation is everything. And having a big family, if you don't know me, you probably know one of my sisters. If you don't know them, you probably know one of my brothers. My parents graduated in this area right here too. So, you know, my last name, there is a reputation that I like to keep. And I think maybe that's why I just took it to heart so much watching it all back. Cause I thought this is, you know, outside of embarrassing, it wasn't even somebody that I didn't like. It was somebody that I just absolutely hated on TV. And it makes things a little bit difficult to try and, you know, to try and convince anybody otherwise. But yeah, that's the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, your family was active on social media in defense of you during the season. Can we expect that this season as well, or do we have new boundaries in place? What's the vibes at family dinner?
No, everything is it's cool, calm, collected. I think I wouldn't want to put them through what I think there's a level of responsibility that I had to take with it all, and knowing that I did put them through some of that, even though that some of it was unwarranted. There is a level of accountability that I had to take, and watching my friends and my family go to war with everybody. But this time around, no, it's just not worth it. It's not worth the.
Well, you'll never beat the internet, right? You're just never going to beat. You're just out. You're outgunned for sure.
No, you never exactly. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Also, anybody that wants to believe everything they see on reality TV is probably somebody not really worth arguing with. And I think that's kind of the level that we all got to. And it doesn't mean that you don't take what they say and try and make yourself better. It just means you filter everything. But yeah, so this time around, there's going to be none of that.
Yeah. I think your situation was also a little worse too, because, you're one of the better looking guys on the season. You have a connection with Jen. You're kind of like,
you're also going up against her other big connection.
And you're kind of like episode 1, a lot of people are looking at you as like, this is going to be the hero. This is going to be the star. And then when it flips, everyone's like, it's like so much worse because you are kind of like a little bit on this pedestal. And then it's like the fall from that. It's like, oh,
it's tough. Yeah. It's a tough soak.
Yeah. It's how it goes. It's just how it goes though. And I learned so much honestly about myself. I think in that environment right there, understanding that I can't fight 10,000 people, in my DM saying this and that. You just have to learn to get over it. And you really have to solidify into who you are, and remember to keep growing and keep pushing. But like I said, it's just filtering everything. If somebody had something to say that was mean, if there was a lesson in there that I could take and apply to myself, then I would. And then the rest of it, I would just throw out the door. But people's opinions and projections, they're just like, it's just not mine to carry. And that was the point that I had to get to, and just saying, this isn't worth it. Take what you can from it, make yourself better. And then after that,
Yeah.
Yeah. How has the response been since the cast has been announced and it's out there that you're going back on TV? Oh no. He's shaking his head.
So I haven't looked at a whole lot. I don't get as involved in it as I think I did whenever I first got back, because I was so excited about it all. I think this time around, I'm more just letting the cards fall as they do, and really nobody's going to know anything about me, and until July 7th. And whenever that happens, then we'll see what the response is like then. So for now, it's still a lot of hate, but it's probably 50-50 now because of, what Devin did and blah, blah, blah. So
that's true.
It's,
That's true.
yeah.
If before we let you go, what is one thing you're hoping the audience learns about Sam as a person after Paradise?
I think that I'm just kind. I think that's what I want people to see, is that I'm very kind and much more soft-spoken than what anybody knows. Also, my emotional intelligence might be a little bit deeper than what everybody thinks as well. So, but I think ultimately it's just that I'm kind. That's what I want people to remember, the way that they felt whenever they talked to me or whenever they were around me. I think that's kind of what I aspire towards in life, is that, how do you want to be remembered? I want to be remembered as that guy that made somebody feel good, made somebody feel confident, and the exact opposite of what they all saw a year ago.
Can you give us one word that you think describes this season of Paradise?
Messy.
Okay.
That's how
We
it
like to
usually
hear
goes.
that.
Sam, really appreciate you taking the time out. I'm rooting for you. I hope this all goes well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Seriously, thanks for having me. This is my first podcast, so
You did well.
I'm glad it was with you guys. I appreciate it.
We were happy to have you on, and you did great. And I'm sure we'll see you again soon as the season starts to air.
I'm sure you will, for sure.
To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to the Bachelor Happy Hour. Make sure you download and subscribe to the podcast.
We will have new and exclusive interviews coming your way. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Big things are happening.